My girlfriend said, "I met someone who makes me feel alive." I replied, "Then enjoy your new life." Then I booked a flight home, changed the locks, packed her things into storage, and blocked her number. We were at Bistro 54, the place where we'd had our first date 4 years ago. Lila had insisted on it, said she wanted somewhere meaningful for what she needed to tell me. The irony wasn't lost on me later. She'd ordered the salmon. I remember that detail because she spent 10 minutes rearranging it on her plate before taking a single bite. Her fingers kept touching the new phone case I'd noticed that morning, rose gold, when she'd always insisted black was more professional. "Louie, I need to tell you something." I set down my fork. In my line of work, crisis communications, you learn to read the room before the crisis hits. The way she'd been checking her phone every 3 minutes. The new yoga class that somehow required her to leave at 6 a.m. on Saturdays. The way she'd stopped asking about my day 3 weeks ago. "I've met someone." There it was. Clean. Simple. Like ripping off a band-aid, except band-aids don't usually come with practice speeches. His name is Deuce. He's a contemporary art curator. We met 3 months ago at the Whitmore Gallery opening. I was doing the florals for their summer exhibition. 3 months. I did the math. That was right around when she'd suddenly become interested in expanding her cultural horizons. When she'd started name-dropping artists I'd never heard her mention in 4 years. She kept talking, words flowing like she'd rehearsed them in her bathroom mirror. How Deuce made her feel alive. How their connection was electric. How she hadn't meant for it to happen, but sometimes the universe has other plans. The whole time, she smiled. Not a guilty smile or an apologetic one. A relieved smile. Like she'd been holding her breath and could finally exhale. "I know this is hard to hear," she continued, reaching across the table like she might take my hand. I didn't move. "But I think in time you'll understand. We've been comfortable, Louie, but comfortable isn't passion. Deuce sees the artist in me, not just the florist. He's introducing me to collectors, gallery owners. This could change everything for my career. My career. The one I'd supported for 2 years while she built her client base. The one that currently paid for approximately 30% of our rent while my crisis work covered the rest." She was still talking. Something about moving her things out this weekend. Something about hoping we could be friends eventually. Something about this being the best thing for both of us. I let her finish. Let her empty her rehearsed magazine article breakup speech into the space between us. The couple at the next table was pretending not to listen. Our waiter had stopped approaching. When she finally ran out of words, she looked at me expectantly. Waiting for the fight, maybe. The tears. The bargaining. The "how could you do this to us" that would let her play the victim who just followed her heart. I gave her 2 words instead. "Then enjoy." Her face shifted through 3 different expressions in the span of a second. Confusion. Disappointment. Then something like anger that I wasn't playing my assigned role in her drama. "That's it? That's all you have to say?" I pulled out my wallet, left enough cash for both meals plus tip. "You want permission to leave? You have it. Enjoy your new life, Lila." I walked out while she was still processing. No dramatic exit. No slam doors. Just a man leaving a restaurant on a Thursday night. The parking lot was empty except for our cars. Hers was the white Audi I'd co-signed for last year. I noticed something in the back seat, a gym bag she didn't own, men's sneakers visible through the mesh. But it was what I saw next that made me stop. Her car's center console was slightly open, and there was a light inside. Not from the regular console light, from something else. I knew that glow. Same as her iPhone. She had a second phone. I memorized the exact position of everything and walked to my car. Started the engine. Pulled out my own phone and made a single note. Thursday, 8:47 p.m. Game begins. Tomorrow, I'd be getting a closer look at that phone. Friday morning, 5:43 a.m. Lila's alarm went off for her new yoga class. I stayed perfectly still, breathing steady, while she shuffled around in the dark. She'd gotten sloppy with her routine, no longer trying to be quiet. The bathroom door closed. Shower started. That's when I made my move. Her purse was on the dresser. The second phone was tucked in the inner pocket, behind her tampons, clever hiding spot for most guys, but I'd been doing opposition research on politicians for 8 years. I'd found burner phones in worse places. Samsung. Password protected, but she'd used her birth date backwards. Amateur move. The home screen opened to a photo of her and Deuce at what looked like a rooftop bar. His arm around her waist. Her looking at him the way she used to look at me. I had 6 minutes, maybe 7. WhatsApp was a goldmine. 3 months of messages, photos, voice notes. I forwarded the entire chat history to my email through her account, then deleted the forward from her sent folder. The messages painted a picture: late night conversations while I was asleep next to her, lunch dates during her client consultations, inside jokes about my work stories that she'd relay to him for entertainment. One message stopped me cold. From 2 weeks ago. Dues, did you move the money yet? Lila, another $3K yesterday. Louis never checks the joint account properly. Dues, perfect. The loft needs first and last month by the 15th. Our joint account. The one we'd open for household expenses. The shower turned off. I screenshotted the banking app showing recent transfers, $3,000 here, $2,000 there, all to an account I didn't recognize. $12,000 total over 6 weeks. I put the phone back exactly as I'd found it, returned to bed, and was fake sleeping when she emerged in her yoga outfit that had never seen a yoga mat. Going to class, she whispered, like she cared if she woke me. The moment the front door closed, I was at my laptop. The unknown account number traced to a Chase account opened 6 weeks ago. Joint account holders, Lila Morrison and Deuce Henley. Deuce Henley. I had a full name now. His LinkedIn was a masterclass in pretension. Disrupting the intersection of contemporary art and immersive experiences. Gallery curator at Whitmore, previously at 2 other galleries that had both closed within a year. But the interesting part was his relationship status, married to Francesca Henley. Not separated. Not divorced. Married. His Facebook was locked down, but Francesca's wasn't. 3 kids. Photos from last Christmas. A post from 2 weeks ago about their upcoming anniversary. 16 years with this amazing man. I spent the next 3 hours building a dossier. Deuce had a pattern. His name appeared in 3 different gallery closure investigations, always as a witness, never charged. There were whispers in art blogs about inventory going missing before each closure. Lila wasn't just cheating with a married man, she was cheating with a con artist. My phone buzzed. Lila, working late tonight. Big wedding consultation. Don't wait up. I checked her Instagram. She'd posted a story 20 minutes ago from her studio, artfully arranged peonies with the caption "Bringing Visions to Life." But in the reflection of a vase, I could see a man's shoes. Brown Oxfords. I'd seen those same shoes in the WhatsApp photos. The big wedding consultation was happening at her studio. With him. I drove to her studio, a converted warehouse space she shared with 3 other designers. Parked across the street. Her white Audi was there. So was a black BMW with vanity plates, Art Dues. The lights were on in her section. Through the windows, I could see shadows moving. Then less moving, more. Merging. I sat in my car for an hour, documenting. Photos of both cars. Timestamps. When they finally emerged, disheveled and laughing, I got video. Him adjusting his belt. Her fixing her hair. The kiss goodbye that was definitely not professional. But that wasn't the jackpot moment. The jackpot was when she pulled a key from her purse and handed it to him. He held it up to the streetlight, grinning, and I zoomed in just enough to see the label on the keychain. It was our home address. She'd given him a key to our apartment. I followed her home, staying 3 cars back. She'd stop at Whole Foods, pick up my favorite beer like nothing had happened. Play the perfect girlfriend one more night. But when I got home first and checked our bedroom closet, I found what I was dreading. A lease agreement. For a loft downtown. Both their signatures at the bottom. And at the top, in the current pregnant checkbox, yes. Pregnant. The word stared back at me from that lease agreement like a punch to the throat. I heard Lila's key in the lock. Shoved the papers back where I'd found them, behind her collection of designer shoe boxes. By the time she walked into the bedroom, I was at my desk, laptop open, seemingly deep in work emails. "Hey babe," she said, setting a Whole Foods bag on the dresser. "Got your favorite IPA?" The performance was flawless. If I hadn't spent the last 12 hours excavating her double life, I might have bought it. She kissed my cheek, lips that had been on him an hour ago, and started talking about her day. The fictional wedding consultation. The difficult bride who couldn't decide between roses and ranunculus. I nodded at the right moments. Smiled when she showed me photos of arrangements she'd done last week. Didn't mention that I recognized the hotel ballroom from Deuce's Instagram. He'd been at an event there the same night. That weekend, she announced she was visiting her sister in Denver. Her sister who, according to Facebook, was actually in Cabo for a bachelorette party. I helped her pack. Watched her put the pregnancy vitamins she'd hidden behind her skincare into her travel bag. Drove her to the airport. Kissed her goodbye. The moment her plane took off, I got to work. The moving truck was scheduled for noon. I'd hired professionals, told them my girlfriend was surprising me with a studio redesign and everything needed to go into storage. They didn't ask questions. People rarely do when you pay cash and tip well. I kept things surgical. All her belongings, nothing of mine. Clothes, jewelry, her grandfather's watch collection she'd inherited, the art pieces she'd been acquiring with my money. The wedding dress she'd bought and hidden in the guest room closet, tag still on. Apparently she'd been planning a future that didn't include telling me about it. The storage unit was perfect. Climate controlled, 24-hour access, security cameras. I'd rented it for 6 months up front under an LLC I'd created years ago for a side consulting gig. But I wasn't just storing her things. I was curating them. I set up her jewelry in a glass display case I'd bought from a closing retail store. Each piece labeled with where she'd worn it while cheating. Grandmother's pearls, worn to Whitmore Gallery opening, March 15th. Diamond earrings Louis bought for anniversary, worn to hotel with dues, April 2nd. 3 tablets mounted on stands, looping through their WhatsApp conversations. The love-making messages. The photos she'd sent him from our bed while I was traveling for work. The voice notes where she mocked my career, called me predictable, said I had no artistic soul. I printed everything. Bank statements showing the theft. The lease agreement with the pregnancy checkbox. Screenshots of Deuce's wife's Facebook, their children's faces blurred but the happy family photos clear. Created a timeline on the wall with red string connecting dates, lies, and evidence like a detective's case board. The centerpiece was a mannequin wearing the wedding dress, surrounded by the wedding magazines she'd been collecting. But the face wasn't blank. I'd printed a photo of her and Deuce from his wife Francesca's anniversary post and attached it where the head should be. The audio was the finishing touch. I'd edited together a compilation of her voice notes to him, sync to play on motion activation. Her laugh. Her promises. Her I love yous that she'd stopped saying to me months ago. By Sunday night, everything was in place. The storage unit had been transformed from a concrete box into an exhibition space. The museum of her new life, as I'd started calling it in my head. I stood in the doorway, admiring the work. It was devastating in its completeness. Every lie documented. Every theft recorded. Every betrayal displayed. My phone buzzed. Lila, from Denver, sister says hi. Having so much fun. Miss you. I texted back, enjoy your time with family. Then I opened my laptop and started drafting invitations. Not emails, proper printed invitations on cardstock. The kind Lila would appreciate for their aesthetic value. I was addressing the third envelope when my phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized the area code. Whitmore Gallery's neighborhood. Mr. Louis Patterson? A woman's voice, professional but nervous. Yes? This is Whitmore Gallery's accounting department. We've discovered some significant discrepancies in our inventory, and your girlfriend Lila Morrison's name has come up in our investigation. We need to discuss some suspicious transactions involving our curator, Mr. Henley. How much inventory are we talking about? I asked the woman from Whitmore. Nearly $200,000 in pieces. They've been listed as sold but the payments traced to an account that Mr. Henley opened with a floral designer. We believe they're being stored somewhere, waiting to be fenced. Lila. She wasn't just stealing from me. They were running a full art theft ring using her business as cover. I might be able to help, I said. But I'll need everything you have. She emailed me the files while we were still on the phone. Invoices for Lila's floral services at triple her normal rate. Shipping manifests to addresses that didn't exist. Photos of missing pieces, sculptures, paintings, limited editions, worth more than our apartment. This changed everything. The storage unit wasn't just going to be a personal revelation anymore. It was about to become evidence in a criminal investigation. But first, I had work to do. The invitations went out Monday morning via courier. Each one personalized, each one designed to guarantee attendance. To Lila's mother Patricia, your daughter has an important announcement about her future. She specifically requested your presence to share life-changing news. I knew Patricia had been pressuring Lila about grandchildren for years. She'd crawl through glass to be there. To her biggest client, socialite Margaret Whitfield, exclusive preview of Lila Morrison's new luxury wedding collection. Limited attendance. Champagne reception included. Margaret wouldn't miss a chance to be first at anything. To Duz's wife Francesca, your husband has been selected for a prestigious art award. His colleague Ms. Morrison will be presenting. Your attendance as his spouse is essential. I included a photo of the storage unit's exterior, made it look official. To the Whitmore Gallery Board, evidence regarding your missing inventory has been located. Viewing is essential before law enforcement involvement. Discretion required. To 3 of Lila's closest friends who'd been bridesmaids at everyone else's weddings but never had their own, Lila has a surprise announcement. She said you've been waiting for this day for years. Each invitation included the same details. Thursday, 7 p.m. Storage Unit 47B. Business casual attire recommended. But the masterpiece was the invitation to Lila and Duz themselves. For her, client emergency at storage facility. Entire Rodriguez wedding order damaged in transit. Need immediate assessment for insurance claim. $50,000 order at risk. For him, anonymous collector interested in private sale. Has requested meeting at secure location. Prepared to pay cash for entire modern collection. Worth 7 figures. Both messages sent from spoof numbers I'd created, time to arrive when they'd be together but unable to discuss inconsistencies. Tuesday, I added the final touches to the storage unit. Motion sensor lights that would illuminate each display in sequence. A guest book at the entrance, white leather, the kind Lila loved, with a sign, "Please record your thoughts for the happy couple." I installed the cameras Wednesday morning. Hidden ones, not the obvious security type. I wanted every reaction, every gasp, every moment when realization dawned. Wednesday afternoon, Lila came home from Denver. Full of stories about her sister, the restaurants they'd tried, the shopping they'd done. I'd already checked her credit card. She'd been at a resort 2 hours away, charges for couples massage, room service for 2, champagne. "I missed you," she said, curling into me on the couch. "Missed you too," I replied, knowing she had no idea how much I'd accomplished in her absence. She made dinner, salmon again, trying to recreate our restaurant meal but with a better ending, she said. The irony was suffocating. After, she suggested we watch a movie. Picked some romantic comedy about second chances. Halfway through, her phone buzzed. Then again. Then repeatedly. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Work emergency," she said, reading the texts. "The Rodriguez wedding order. There's been an accident at the storage facility. I need to go first thing tomorrow." "That's terrible. Want me to come with you?" No. I'll handle it. It's my responsibility." She was already texting someone. Not her assistant. The typing pattern was different, longer messages, more pauses. She was coordinating with Duz. Thursday arrived gray and humid. Lila left at noon for the emergency. I waited 30 minutes, then headed to the storage facility myself. Parked where I could see the entrance but wouldn't be spotted. 5:47 p.m. Margaret Whitfield arrived in her Bentley. 5:53 p.m. The Whitmore Gallery board members, 3 cars. 6:15 p.m. Patricia, Lila's mother, practically running from her car. 6:42 p.m. Lila's 3 friends in 1 car, giggling. 6:56 p.m. Francesca Henley, Duz's wife, looking confused but curious. 6:58 p.m. Lila's white Audi, speeding into the lot. 6:59 p.m. Duz's BMW pulling in right behind her. Then I saw something that wasn't part of my plan. A police cruiser, sliding quietly into the parking lot, lights off. The cruiser parked 3 spaces from the storage unit entrance. No one got out immediately. Through my windshield, I could see the officer on his radio, waiting for something. Or someone. I checked my phone. 7:02 p.m. Everyone was inside except me and whoever was in that police car. Time to make my entrance. I walked past the cruiser without looking, steady pace, like I had every right to be there. Which I did. My name was on the rental agreement. The officer didn't move. As I reached the door to Unit 47B, I could already hear voices inside. Confused. Angry. Some crying. I opened the door. The motion sensors I'd installed triggered perfectly. First spotlight, the jewelry display. Second, the mannequin in the wedding dress. Third, the tablets playing Lila's messages to Duz on loop. Fourth, the wall of evidence, red strings connecting every lie. The room was exactly as I'd imagined. Lila stood frozen at the center, her face cycling through expressions like a slot machine. Duz was by the mannequin, actually reaching for the wedding dress like he could somehow make it disappear. Francesca, his wife, was staring at the Facebook photos I'd printed, their family vacation from last month while he was supposedly at an art fair in Miami. Patricia, Lila's mother, sat on the floor holding the pregnancy checkbox lease agreement, tears streaming. The Whitmore board members were photographing everything with their phones. Margaret Whitfield had backed against a wall, hand over her mouth, diamond bracelet catching the lights. "Louis?" Lila's voice cracked. "What is this?" "Your museum," I said, stepping fully inside. "I thought your new life deserved a proper exhibition." Duz moved then, tried to push past me toward the door. "This is illegal. Harassment. I'll sue." "For what?" "Displaying stolen art?" I pulled out my phone, showed him the email from Whitmore's accounting department. "They know about the missing pieces. The fake invoices. The shell game you've been running." That's when Francesca found her voice. "Stolen art? Duz, what is he talking about?" The room erupted. Everyone talking at once. Accusations flying. Lila trying to explain to her mother that it wasn't what it looked like while her own voice played from the tablets calling me pathetic, boring, a human spreadsheet with no soul. Margaret Whitfield pointed at a series of screenshots on the wall. "These are my events. My private events. You were posting about them? Mocking my taste? My guests?" One of Lila's friends, Brooke or Brooklyn, I could never remember, was reading the WhatsApp messages out loud. "Listen to this one. Can't wait until we can stop pretending and I can block all these basic B-word." "That's us," another friend said. "We're the basic B-word." Duz's phone started ringing. He looked at the screen and went pale. "It's the gallery." "Might want to answer that," I suggested. "They're probably wondering why their curator has been marking inventory as sold and pocketing the money." But the best moment was when Lila finally noticed the detail I'd saved for her. In the corner, on a small pedestal, sat a pregnancy test. Positive. Still in its wrapper from CVS, receipt attached showing she'd bought it 3 weeks ago. Next to it, a printout from her insurance showing she'd already been to an obstetrics appointment. Alone. "You knew?" she whispered. "How did you?" "The real question," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "is whether you've told Duz yet. Or were you waiting to see if I'd raise another man's baby?" Duz's head snapped toward her. "What? You're pregnant?" Francesca laughed. Actually laughed. Sharp and bitter. "Oh my God. She didn't tell you either." The storage unit door opened behind me. The officer from the cruiser walked in, followed by 2 others. One of them looked directly at the Whitmore board members. "We received your call about the stolen property?" Everything shifted. This wasn't just social destruction anymore. This was legal consequences. Real ones. Duz tried to run again. Didn't make it 2 steps before an officer stopped him. Lila was hyperventilating, her mother trying to calm her while simultaneously recoiling every time she tried to explain. "Mr. Patterson," the lead officer said to me, "we'll need you to preserve all this evidence." "Already made copies of everything," I said, handing him a USB drive I'd prepared. "Digital files, financial records, correspondence. It's all there." The room was chaos. Pure, beautiful chaos. Lives unraveling in real time, just as I'd orchestrated. But as I watched Lila collapse into a chair, hand on her stomach, mascara running in black rivers down her cheeks, Francesca stepped forward. She looked directly at me. "There's something else you should know about my husband." She pulled out her phone, scrolled to something, and showed me the screen. "This isn't his first time. There were 2 others before your girlfriend." Francesca's phone showed a folder labeled evidence. Inside were screenshots, photos, bank records. 2 other women over the past 3 years. Same pattern, younger artists or designers, promises of career advancement, secret apartments, stolen money. "I've been building this case for the divorce," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "But I think the police might want it now." The officers were already taking statements. Duz sat handcuffed on the floor, finally silent. The Whitmore board members were walking the officers through the inventory lists, pointing out pieces they recognized in photos on Lila's Instagram, art that was supposed to be in private collections, displayed as backdrop for her floral arrangements. Lila tried to approach me twice. The first time, she started with "Louis, please, let me explain," but her mother pulled her back, hissing something about shame and disappointment. The second time, she just stood there, mouth opening and closing like she was drowning in air. "The baby," she finally managed. "It's yours. I know it's yours. The timing." Doesn't matter, I cut her off. You made your choice. Every lie, every stolen dollar, every night you came home and kissed me after being with him. Those were all choices. Margaret Whitfield was on her phone with her lawyer, loudly describing how her private events had been compromised. Lila's 3 friends had already left, but not before taking photos of everything and posting them to their stories. I watched the view counts climb in real time. By 8:30, the police had what they needed. Dews was arrested on fraud charges. Lila wasn't arrested but was told not to leave town. The storage unit was marked as a crime scene, everything to be catalogued as evidence. Perfect. I wouldn't even have to pay for next month's rental. The parking lot emptied slowly. Francesca stopped next to my car. "Thank you," she said, "for not letting me waste another year." Patricia couldn't even look at me as she guided Lila to her car. The last thing I heard was Lila saying, "Mom, I can explain," and Patricia responding, "Don't. Just don't." I drove home to an empty apartment. Everything exactly as I'd left it that morning, except now it was just mine. No trace of her remained. Even her coffee mug was gone, packed away in evidence box number 23. That night, I did 3 things. First, I posted the necklace, a vintage piece Lila claimed her grandmother had given her but had actually bought with my credit card, on an auction site. Starting bid, $1. The description simply read, "From the museum of her new life collection. Proceeds go to new beginnings." Second, I accepted the job offer I'd been sitting on for 2 months. Senior position at a crisis firm in Singapore. They needed someone who understood narrative control, who could manage chaos. After tonight, I felt uniquely qualified. Third, I uploaded everything to a Google Drive and shared the link on Reddit, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Not out of spite, but as a case study. How to handle personal crisis, a professional analysis, clinical, detached, every emotion filtered through professional language. The necklace auction ended at $3,847. Some influencer bought it for the story. I used the money for a one-way ticket to Singapore, business class. 2 weeks later, I was at JFK Airport. The scandal had exploded beyond anything I'd imagined. Dews was facing 5 to 10 years. The gallery was suing Lila for damages. Patricia had disowned her daughter publicly in a Facebook post that went viral. The pregnancy was confirmed as mine, but I'd already signed away parental rights through my lawyer. As I waited to board, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, then saw the preview. "This is Francesca. Thought you should know." The message included a link to a news article from that morning. Lila had been arrested at another gallery, trying to sell pieces from Dews's inventory. She'd been caught because the gallery owner recognized her from my viral post. I deleted the message, then my social media apps, then her number that I'd kept saved under "Don't Answer." The boarding announcement came over the speaker. First class to Singapore, now boarding. I stood, grabbed my single suitcase, and walked toward the gate. Behind me, my phone buzzed with another notification. I dropped it in the trash without looking. For the first time in months, I felt nothing. And it was perfect. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.